Tell us a little bit about what you saw and being able to relay that message to Cora when you watched Kimbrel pitch and kind of help out so he wasn't tipping his pitches.
So tipping pitches, we hear about it all the time.
People at home understand what tipping pitches is all about.
It's amazing.
And that's remarkable.
Alex, we have the rare breaking news tipping pitches amendment. Podcast amendment.
We love amendments here.
Rank your favorite amendments. Rank your favorite players that Rafael Devers just got traded to the Giants for. Number 1, Kyle Harrison.
Kyle Harrison.
Number 2, Jordan Hicks. Number 3, others. Rafael Devers to the Giants.
You thought I was kidding. You thought I had gotten got by like Jeff Parson or something like that.
Jeff Passan.
Right.
You have this weird knack for breaking big trades to me.
I know.
For someone who is as online as I am, in the sense that I have Jeff Passan's tweet notifications set up.
Yeah.
But, my phone's on Do Not Disturb, so I didn't see it.
That's what it is.
Especially while we're creating content. We were recording the pod, and then we took Stevie out for a walk, and then we came back, and you were like, bro, Rafael Devers is on the Giants. And I was like, no, that's not right. That's not right. So, okay, we're going to talk about this for like 10 minutes, and then you're going to hear the rest of the full podcast that we just recorded right before this. But it felt a little silly to not take advantage of the fact that we're still in the same place and tack this on at the beginning of the episode. Full disclosure, what we just joked about, Kyle Harrison, Jordan Hicks, and others, is all we know at this time. So maybe by the time you're listening to this, you know more about the prospects that are involved in this trade. We have seen reporting that the Giants will be taking on the entirety of Rafael Devers' contract. I feel like that is not an insignificant portion of this trade.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this comes amidst a really weird season for Devers and the Red Sox, where they asked him to move to designated hitter, and then they asked him to move back to first base. Well, they asked him to move to first base for the first time in his career, and he said, nah. Alex, what do you make of the Rafael Devers to the San Francisco Giants trade?
I just kind of can't believe that it all came to this and how fast it came to this, right? And I mean that in the context of everything that has gone on between Devers and the Red Sox front office over the last 6 months in the wake of them signing Alex Bregman. You alluded to the fact that, they've had these discussions. He has been very firm in not wanting to make these moves, even on the moves that he did eventually make. But
yes, he didn't want to give up third to go to DH.
Yeah.
And then once he did go to DH, he didn't want to decide to start playing first after Tristan Casas got hurt.
Yeah.
And they needed a first baseman.
But it feels like a rapid acceleration on Breslow's part and maybe an acknowledgement.
Craig Breslow accelerationist era.
Exactly. And maybe an acknowledgement that, hey, if he was the GM when Bloom signed this contract, that maybe this is one that he does not extend to Devers, right? That he is more comfortable with the value he can get in return from trading Devers than paying him for the next, 9.5 years.
But when you, I think that's not totally unrelated, but I don't think Devers was just going to be the DH for the rest of his contract, was he? I mean, Alex Bregman was signed for like 2+1, I think. And maybe there's a chance that they want to now extend Bregman, or I don't really know. And at time of recording, we don't really know that much. We haven't heard anything from the Red Sox brass. We're literally just recording after the Robert Murray tweet and after the Jeff Passan follow-up. So, but I find this deeply confusing because when you said to me for Jordan Hicks and others, like Jordan Hicks is not a good pitcher. Kyle Harrison was a top prospect, but he's had like one season of Major League Baseball and he had kind of like a mid ERA, like a 4.6 ERA. So, we're not trading Devers for Skeens here. We're trading him for one actively bad pitcher and one promising young pitcher who has not been good yet. And maybe others, maybe like top prospects. But even still, you look at what the Red Sox have done now in the last 5 years. Well, I guess like in the last 7 years. since winning the 2018 World Series. They've now traded away Mookie Betts, they've let Xander Bogaerts walk, and they've traded away Rafael Devers. Perhaps the three biggest Red Sox player development success stories since fill in the blank, since Dustin Pedroia. I don't really know. The three best position players that you've developed within your organization, you've now shipped out. Whether or not you get commensurate value back for this player, whether or not the war for war makes sense, that's a tough narrative to overcome as an organization, that you can't figure it out with the own good players that you give $300 million. Yeah. That's not a good look.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and it feels maybe a little bit trigger happy from Breslow, right? He's the new young gun in town, the one who's able to relate to the players, but has an MBA and getting down and falling back up and a real one and whatever the fuck, But it feels like him wanting to be like, I'm the guy. I need to be the one who can make tough decisions like this, like trading our star guy. And I just don't really think it came to that at this point. It has now come out that James Tibbs and Jose Bello are the other two prospects coming over in that trade from San Francisco. So that brings it up to 4 players. Those two guys, Tibbs is the 4th ranked prospect in their system, according to Fangraphs. Bello is the 27th. Ooh, neither are in the top 100. So
this is just then I'm forced to think this is just a salary dump.
Right.
But you can't salary dump Rafael Devers.
No, you can't. On the flip side of this, the Giants, I am sure, are absolutely happy to make this happen, especially after
no one wants to sign with them.
Especially after having missed out on some of the biggest fishes in the free agent pond in the last couple of years. They obviously already have a guy locked in at third base in Matt Chapman. But if they are willing to just let Devers DH from here on out, maybe you're fine with that.
Mm-hmm. It would be really funny if Devers played first for the Giants.
It would be really funny.
This is kind of a head scratcher.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to make of this.
No, it really strikes me as putting a premium on chemistry, on the intangibles, on wanting to have organizational buy-in from everyone on the roster.
I'd like to have good hitters on the roster.
Right. Uh-huh.
I just yeah.
It is really strange. We're both just sitting here kind of staring off in the distance trying to
Is the relationship so beyond repair that you just trade him?
I know.
In June?
Right.
You don't even wait till the deadline and sort of field other competitive offers for him. You just dump him in June to San Francisco. By the way, 4 days before you have a series in San Francisco, the Red Sox are playing in SF this coming weekend.
That's sick.
I know. Should we go? I'm actually going to San Francisco next week.
Wow, you should go.
I don't think I'll be there in time. Be like, hey guys, can I start 4 days earlier? I want to see the Red Sox. They're going to town. This is a weird one.
This is a really weird one.
I consider this to be the weirdest baseball trade in a lot of time.
Yes. Well, just the timing of it, right? Yes. Random, middle of June. Again, we're not in that window necessarily where teams are making a flurry of moves. Most teams are probably giving themselves a few more weeks to see where things net out. The Red Sox are smack dab at 500.
But this is not even, you can't consider this a 2025 trade.
Right.
This is not the Giants saying, hey, we're pushing our chips in for this year. And this is not the Red Sox saying, hey, we're giving up on this year.
Yeah.
The guy's signed for 10 more seasons.
I mean, I guess.
And he's one of the 10 highest paid players in the league.
Yeah. I guess you could say from the Red Sox point of view, you now give yourselves a month and a half to see how Hicks and
Kyle Harrison.
Kyle Harrison, very memorable guy.
Yeah.
How they do, and if Hicks performs well, maybe you flip him at the deadline.
He's not a good pitcher.
I know. Well, that's the thing is it feels a little like the sort of the Jerry Dipoto move, of what can I turn this
Jerry Dipoto
the reverse Jerry Dipoto,
Uh-huh.
I've turned this paperclip into a house. Let's see if I can turn it back into a dozen paperclips.
Let's see what Jordan Hicks has looked like this season so far. Yeah. Solid little 6.47 ERA. The peripherals look a lot better, though.
The peripherals look too good. He's like a fine pitcher, right? Reliever turned starter. But I struggle to see the like standout guy that you just got in return for the recently crowned face of your organization.
Correct. Yeah. You can't crown someone the face of your organization and trade him less than 3 years later.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe Craig Breslow and sabermetric types would say you're falling prey to sunk cost fallacy if the relationship is so tattered, or you really feel like he's not going to justify the contract that you gave him because he's just going to be a DH for the rest of the contract. But the optics of it are bad. You just traded away your best hitter.
Yeah.
And now it seems financially motivated when you're the Red Sox.
Right. Now, all of a sudden, if you know, you know, right? All of a sudden, we've got some cap room to deal with. Yeah, I get the sense that maybe Breslow wanted an out from this contract anyway.
That's weird, though. Because, like, who you going to sign someone now?
Yeah.
Like, I know they just signed Bregman. I don't know. We could ruminate on this for a while, but we don't know that much about it right now. So I don't think it pays to do 30 minutes of stammering about why the Red Sox would do this. We'll probably just end up talking about this next week.
Yeah, we will. Well, and as you'll hear later in this episode, we are going to have some more inside information, just
Correct.
better lines of communication
I
with,
can't
with
believe
the powers that be.
There was breaking news before our
Before
breaking
our
news.
own breaking news.
All right, well, let's head on over to the rest of the episode that we already recorded. Alex, before we get into the podcast, we have an important announcement to make. I know you've been preparing a statement for the listeners of the podcast. So would you like to be the one to do the honors? Or do you want me to read it off?
I am really excited to share this news because it's been a long time coming. It's been really hard to keep this under wraps, especially at the wonderful meetup we had, the Cyclones games on Friday. The ink was still kind of drying on this, so we didn't want to tip our hands too much.
Or our pitches.
Or our pitches. We never tip our pitches. We're excited to say that we are announcing a partnership with Major League Baseball. They are going to be acquiring a majority stake of tipping pitches. What this is going to do is it's going to help us build out our storytelling capabilities. It is going to give us a sort of cash infusion that will allow us to really, I think, expand the reach of this show, but also, frankly, gain access to parts of the sport that we may not have had access to before.
Like, for example, one of the things that we talked about in our dealings with Major League Baseball was we were really excited to partner with Fanatics.
Yes.
To be able to help out with our merch process. You know, it's been a lot of work just for two guys to handle merch, and we figured global conglomerate like Fanatics could really be able to, I don't know, the word you kept saying was supercharge our merch, our merchandising endeavor, really, and our business there.
Well, what we feel like what Major League Baseball is able to bring to the table, and this is something that we discussed in kind of the weeks and months of negotiation, is that they really have the sort of scale in terms of their operations, in terms of their supply chain capabilities, able to sort of fulfill more of the processes along the way so that you and I can be a little bit more hands-off, right?
Right, exactly. Look, we've done our best running this business, but let's be real. We don't have MBAs.
No.
And the people in the MLB front office
got a PhD in getting back up.
Right.
But no MBA.
Masters in failing. PhD in getting back up. Listen, you said it right there in that first couple sentences. This is about being able to give back to our community with storytelling that's deeper than ever before. And that's what we're really excited about with this MLB partnership. So, you know, you may have heard us over the years criticizing MLB. They're really excited about that. They want us to continue to be able to speak our truth and talk about the game from a true fan and journalist perspective, despite the fact that they've acquired a decent chunk of our business.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing's really going to change about tipping pitches here.
No, I think that's a really important point, right? Nothing that you hear, nothing that you see is going to be any different. We made sure throughout the course of this sale, or I don't want to call it a sale, even though it's a majority stake, to make sure that we remain
not a sale, dude. It's just a partnership. It's a partnership.
Yes, I know. Once again, cash infusion going to be really critical, but nothing's going to change. We're still going to be in your feeds every single Monday. We're still going to be giving you the scuttlebutt on what's going around the league, on what's going on around the league. You know, who's winning, who's losing, what were the scores of last night's games, all the stuff that you have come to know and love about tipping pitches. Just our next chapter.
2 more things.
Yeah.
The first, what we're really excited about this one is that this now gives us a direct line, us and anyone who is a A-Rod level patron, a direct line to Rob Manfred.
Mm-hmm.
So we can now email him to let him know anything and everything. That's part of selling out to Major League Baseball.
Yes.
Is that now we get to really affect the change that you got started a few years ago when you took over as head of the MLB Fans Union.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was another thing that Rob kept mentioning in our dealings, in our negotiations.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is that it's something that Rob wanted from us. He said, I love the pod. I love what you guys are doing. But you know as well as anybody, the real money is in video. And so what Rob said was, keep doing the pod every Monday. Keep doing the Patreon episodes every other week. But what we also need from you is anytime something happens in an MLB game where we're not really sure what's going on there, we need you to hop on over to the MLB YouTube channel and try to just, I don't know what you would call it. Maybe like, I guess, lip reading videos.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so we're going to be doing a lot of those, a lot of instant reaction lip reading videos in addition to the podcast. So that's sort of the breakdown of the content that you can expect from us over the coming years with this partnership with Major League Baseball.
Yeah, we are so excited. Like I said, things are not going to change around here. It's still the Bobby and Alex you've come to know and love. And I don't know. I think we should leave it at that. Real quick, I did just want to say, if you bet $5, you can get $200 in bonus bets from DraftKings. That is DraftKings Casino. Use code Bob for an extra bonus bet. Supercharge your.
You can't say that. That was part of the stipulation of the deal, is that Rob had to honor the banned topics.
Right, that's true.
And he had to honor the bingo card.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't go far out of his way to make sure that things on the bingo card did or didn't happen.
Yeah.
And if we find out that he did, much like if we find out that a player gambled on baseball, it's over for him.
No, that's also in there. That's a I think it was termed an act of, one of those act of God moments, right? Where it's something that's out of the control.
Flood, famine, strike, pandemic.
And Rob Manfred's grubby little fingers all over the game of baseball.
All right, really excited. Next chapter. We've been through a lot here on this pod, and I just want to thank the community. And I'm really excited for the deeper storytelling. Yeah. So without, that we just wanted to get that out of the way. We're not going to talk about this every week. We just wanted to be transparent with you all. Mm-hmm. Okay, we wanted to take you behind the curtain of the deal making that we've been working on here on the podcast. We got a fun one today. We're going to talk about. I don't know how long to keep this bit going. We got a fun one today. We're going to talk about A-Rod appearing in New York Magazine. We are going to talk about the Chicago White Sox and our favorite owner, Jerry Reinsdorf, coming to the end of his tenure. And then we're going to talk about how MLB is really doing their best to keep the balls consistent, but it's a really hard job. It's really hard. So we'll get into all that stuff. But before we do, I am Bobby Wagner.
I'm Alex Baisley.
And this is Tipping Pitches, presented by Major League Baseball in partnership with DraftKings and Fanatics. Are you ready to do the rest of the pod?
I am.
You feel good with that news off your chest?
I do, yeah.
Do you feel like anyone listening right now is really confused?
Just about this heel turn that we've made?
Like maybe they didn't look at the news in the last week and they're just like, wait, this must be a bit, but I don't know what kind of bit it is.
Yeah.
And to that I say it's not a bit.
No, I would say go check our Twitter feed for a joint statement.
What say you about the unfortunate news that John Boy Pro Labor Pivot is over now?
This is actually maybe the funniest possible way we could have lost this bingo spot, in my opinion.
Is him literally selling the company to Major League
going
Baseball.
the exact other direction.
I almost regret, but I guess, yeah, I don't know. I almost regret not seeing this coming. This keeps happening where things keep happening in the baseball world. And I'm like, that would have been a perfect thing for our bingo card. And then, alas, we can't actually predict the future.
Right. No.
You really, I'm really proud of you for being able to keep a straight face throughout that whole bit.
And when you say bit.
I keep having this thought in my head where I'm like, there's probably someone who's listening to this podcast for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're having a good time right now. Thank you to this week's new patrons, Joseph, Sally, Ryan, Olivia, Casey, Matthew, Danielle, and John. Speaking of those patrons, Alex, we just did a podcast episode on Patreon, 3 Up, 3 Down episode last week, in which we discussed, of course, the biggest real news of the past week, which is that Alex Rodriguez sat down with an interview in The Strategist, which is an online vertical of New York Magazine.
I enjoy hearing you have to explain what The Strategist is each time we talk about this.
Some people are not so well versed in digital media, bro.
I agree.
I'm just trying to be comprehensive.
You are.
Just like you were trying to be comprehensive about announcing our sale to Major League Baseball.
We're correct.
And I'm trying to be comprehensive about the journalistic. I'm trying to keep this thing going here. Mm-hmm. This is a part of their series where they talk about where the strategist talks to celebrities about their favorite things, I think it's called.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like what I can't live without, right? Because the strategist.
But I thought that GQ's was the what I can't live without, and I thought the strategist was like, these are my favorite things. They're the same thing. Like that's the same idea.
They're both shopping verticals, right? Like that is, to be clear, that is where this stuff happens, is where they talk about products that you can buy.
Yes,
oftentimes recommended and tried by the writers. Sometimes Lysol just wiggles its nose in there.
So many people sent this to us that A-Rod sat down to do this with the strategist. And we were really excited. So excited that we couldn't let a 3 Up, 3 Down episode pass. But we didn't want to paywall A-Rod content from you guys. So what we're going to do here is we're going to play that section of the last 3 Up, 3 Down episode in which we discussed this strategist article and Alex Rodriguez's appearance in it. But before we do, Alex, I wanted to ask you. So he already did this with the strategist. I feel like most of media now, most of media and most press tours are just celebrities doing things like this. Mm-hmm. They go on the strategist and they talk about their favorite things. They talk about their things they can't live without with GQ. And which sort of digital media venture would you want to see A-Rod do next now that he's checked off the strategist?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Thank you. I mean, part of the contingency of the sale was to continue to ask good questions.
And you mean outside of Rogan, right?
No, I mean including Rogan. I wrote Rogan down.
Okay, the Rogan is the far and away the number one place I would like to see him.
And why is that? Because you really like Joe's perspective on the world?
Yeah. Me
and him are on a first name basis now.
There are not many venues, I think, that are so conducive at just getting the guests to say what they actually think or feel. Like, for better or for worse, sit a person down in like a hot, steamy basement for 4 hours that you're hotboxing, and like you're probably gonna get them to say some weird shit.
Yeah. It's the longest time commitment, and therefore it's the most likely place for him to run out of his
like things to say. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but run out of his like pre-vetted stories that he always rolls out.
Yes.
Good answer. Can I give you mine?
Yeah, please.
Hot ones.
So that was the other one that I had written down.
Kind of an obvious answer,
Yep.
But I don't know. I've heard him talk about ice cream. I've heard him talk about chips.
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard him talk about chicken wings.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he likes spicy food, but we'd find out.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly.
Another another media venture that is sort of premised on catching the guest on their back foot a little bit, right? Is designed to break down that wall a little bit. In this case, with spice. In Joe's case, with the spice of knowledge.
Do you think the Hot Ones guy is a good interviewer? This is a controversial topic.
No, but
Sean
something. Yeah,
Sean something.
No, but he doesn't need to be.
Tough beat that there's already another Sean Spicer in the world. That would have been a good stage name for the Hot Ones guy.
Sean Spicer on Hot Ones.
Did he go on Hot Ones?
No, I'm just putting that idea in the world. Anthony Scaramucci on Hot Ones.
Wow. Compelling. I'm not against it.
I'd really like to see A-Rod on, like Wired, they do those like autocomplete videos.
No.
Where like
yes.
they start typing the celebrity's name into Google and then they like sit there and answer the question.
Yes.
That's the one that I want to see.
I didn't know that was a Wired joint.
I think it is.
I'd love to see him on the New York Times opinion podcast. Just him and Ross Douthat really getting into the weeds.
You know what? I'd watch every second of that.
I mean, I'm not kidding.
I know.
I'm not kidding.
I mean, I think the goal, if you were courting Alex Rodriguez, right? Or
courting
him.
Courting him? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said courting. And I was like, is this some Gen Z term that I don't know that
we're recording him?
Recording him. Is it like that's like a slang for recording him on a podcast? Recording him?
The goal is to like have an interview, to have an environment that is so far beyond anything that he's used to that he has like no choice but to kind of adapt to it.
Sounds like you're describing Major League Baseball's new favorite podcast, Tipping Pitches.
I think, well, frankly,
I don't know that I could really break down his facade though, because one of the things I'm most interested in is the facade.
Right. Yeah.
So how do I
carefully curated?
Yeah. So how do I get beyond that? Is a question that I have.
Do a little good cop, bad cop between us.
Which one of us is which?
Well, I think you should be the good cop, right? You want to interplay with the facade a little bit,
Right.
Sink
so
to his level
I'm asking
a bit,
him the friendly questions.
language. Exactly.
And then you're coming in where you're like, so you fixed bread prices.
Right. Exactly.
Remember that? That was a crazy moment.
What?
The when that guy asked Mayor Pete why he fixed bread prices.
No, to be 100% honest, I did not recall that whatsoever.
All right. Well, should we go to our discussion of A-Rod on The Strategist?
I think we should.
Is it on The Strategist or in The Strategist? In New York Mag? I would say in New York Mag.
Right. But
maybe it's in The Strategist. You think about that, listener, while we play this clip for you.
Think about it. But I did confirm it is what Alex Rodriguez can't live without.
Oh, okay. So how does GQ brand theirs?
You're going to make me do more live research right now?
Wow. You get bought out by one professional sports league and suddenly you don't want to put the work in. Don't forget how we made it here, Alex. Hard work. I'm sorry to The Strategist and I'm sorry to Gentlemen's Quarterly. Let's roll that clip. I'm going to talk about something that's not nearly as important.
Okay, good.
But it is important to us, and that is Alex Rodriguez being profiled in Strategist. The Strategist. What Alex Rodriguez can't live without. This is an ongoing Strategist series. Strategist is a digital vertical of New York Magazine. They do a series with celebrities where celebrities talk about the things that they cannot live without. A-Rod did it. This is huge. It's honestly a miracle it took us this long to talk about it.
I know.
Are you ready to just go through item by item?
That's what I figured we were going to do. So yes, I'm locked in.
The first item is Orbit Peppermint Sugar-Free Chewing Gum. Mm-hmm. First words out of his mouth of this. Probably like 15 years ago, my trainer Dodd introduced me to this gum. He thought it was the healthiest, and I liked the taste and the look of the packaging. Then it became almost like a nervous tick during games. So over the course of the game, I would have anywhere from 18 to 36 pieces of this gum and turned into a routine. 36 pieces of Orbit chewing gum per game.
No one is doing it like him.
Okay.
I want to be so clear.
Second item, Look Optic Sullivan readers. First of all, these glasses are very affordable, which I love because the minute I buy really expensive glasses, literally within 48 hours, I lose them or they break.
Bobby, I don't want to speak for you because you are a member of the glassed community. Sounds a little bit like a skill issue on his part. He loses them after 48 hours?
Can't imagine losing my glasses. Like if we're somewhere and I lose my glasses, I need you to like call in a wellness check on me.
I know.
But then again, I don't think he wears glasses all the time. They're readers. So if I didn't have to wear my glasses all the time, I see a world in which I could lose them.
Okay.
In theory. Bosch & Lomb Lumify eye drops, $12. By the way, the glasses, $68. The gum, it's gum. You know how much gum costs. Coppertone Sports Sunscreen, SPF 50. Here he says, when I first got to the majors, I remember a lot of the white guys would pour it on, and I would always wonder, why are you doing that? The sun's great for you, right? I've become better about it post-retirement, especially in the summertime. Now I wear it more like 80% of the time when I'm in the sun. Apple AirPods 4, $99.
I just want to say, more education about sun poisoning in Major League clubhouses, apparently, is needed.
No, literally. I mean, there's Major League clubhouses need a lot more education about a lot of things. He says, I don't ever listen to music on my headphones. I listen to podcasts, or I will use them for phone calls. My favorite podcast is mine, The Deal on Bloomberg, which I host with my partner, Jason Kelly, his partner in LGBTQ Awareness Month and Pride Month. But after that, my favorite is probably Founders, which is a gentleman who has read over 1,000 autobiographies and does a 1-hour synopsis of a different one each time. It's incredible.
Wait. So I love he's like, the first pod I really like to listen to is mine. I fucking love this man. The second pod is book reports?
Yep. And the third pod is called Acquired, which is about business and is just great, according to A-Rod.
Oh, okay.
AirPods,
it's just
bro.
Great.
AirPods, come on. No tippy pitches mentioned. But actually, though, when I read this the first time, I thought to myself, I don't know what I would do with myself if he just dropped in this. Because he's naming pods here. Imagine if he was just like, my favorite baseball podcast, tipping pitches. What would you even do?
I think I'd kill myself. Like, if I knew that Alex Rodriguez yeah, and also out of shame, I'd be like, oh my God, he listens to this?
Okay, here's the next. Chipotle Burrito Bowl. God, he's just like me. And
Can you read out the order for me, please?
Yeah. He says, I can crush a burrito bowl. I like to order a combo, chicken and steak. Then I like guac, red sauce, rice and beans, and a little spice. What's your Chipotle bowl order?
Well, it starts with the phone out and recording to make sure they give me that fucking steak.
Right, exactly.
It's just, I don't know. It's a steak burrito bowl.
I always go no rice. Beans, double chicken. Why are you looking at me like that?
No rice.
I don't want the rice.
Do you put like lettuce on there?
Yeah.
All right. That's, I guess, acceptable.
Beans.
That's just weird. I'm like,
chicken,
what is the base?
No rice. Lettuce. Pico de gallo. Maybe
this guy's got double chicken money. Okay.
Every time we're there, I always talk about the pod so that I can make it a business expense.
I wondered about that.
Okay, and then he lists off 3 different kinds of chips. Doritos, nacho cheese, Lay's potato chips, salt and vinegar, Cheetos, crunchy cheese flavored snacks. One of my many vices is chips. I can't stay away from those damn chips. At this point, I have a PhD in chips. I like to make a chip combo too, with all kinds of chips. I like Cheetos, I like barbecue, I like Doritos, and I like Lay's salt and vinegar chips. My biggest problem is the time between 8 o'clock dinner and the time when I'm passing out at midnight with Netflix. That's my danger zone.
New A-Rod life lesson just dropped. Get a PhD in chips.
This song sounds an awful lot like your wife's famous party mix, which is just taking every chip that's in sight and pouring it into the same bowl and being like, party.
Exactly. Hey, you know what? Everyone loves it. Every single time. People are like, this is really good.
Yeah, of course it is. It's just a bunch of different salty things all in the same place.
I just love the phrase, I like to make chip combos too, from Alex Rodriguez.
That's my danger zone. Is so funny. Planters, pistachio, nuts, lovers, nut mix. He says this is a healthier way to have some snacks. You get some protein, you get some good fats, so it's not as bad as the chips.
Right, but he does not wax poetic about this nut mix like he does the chips.
No, it's begrudging. Nike Air Max 270. Okay, big baller. More of an Air Max 90 guy myself, but I could see, an athletic look to the 270. Of course, I was 17 when I signed my first Nike contract with Phil Knight, so now I'm very loyal to the brand. He had to drop Phil Knight in there, bro.
Of course.
Okay, here's the kicker. This is the reason that we came here. The final item that Alex Rodriguez needs, that he can't live without, is Lysol Laundry Sanitizer Additive 0% Bleach Crisp Linen. You ready to hear what he has to say about this?
Please tell me.
This stuff kills bacteria on your laundry, which is awesome, because I remember that polyester Yankee uniform would just stink. Sometimes in the summer, I would wear 3 different jerseys in one game. First 3 innings, second 3 innings, and third. I've heard him say this before, actually.
Yeah.
Because it would get soaking wet and smelly. Whether you're playing sports or just working out, it will help keep your clothes clean and smelling good. Now, Alex, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, what he had to say about Lysol was so informed, it almost sounded like an ad.
Uh-huh.
Let me scroll back up to the top of this article to read you a little disclaimer. We asked former New York Yankee and The Deal podcast host Alex Rodriguez, parentheses, who's currently starring in a new Lysol ad, about the snacks, sneakers, and reading glasses he can't live without.
So you're telling me this was not on the up and up?
It was SwanCon the whole time, dog. Also, is he running for president? Why are all these things so cheap? Come on, give me the real shit right here, bro. Are you kidding me?
I know
he's out here being like, oh, I'm just a man, but I love Chipotle. I love chips. I love chewing gum. I love Lysol. Come on, what is this?
Yeah, I know. Tell me you can't live without your Bloomberg Plus subscription. That's okay. Tell me you can't live without your Warren Buffett daily, quotes daily calendar. Do I have your sign off to purchase every single one of the items on this list? So
it's only going to cost you $85.
I know.
I mean, it's just incredible stuff, what he's done here.
Do you think he had any say in that final item? Was it we do need a Lysol product placement in here, but you can choose whichever you feel most drawn to? And he was like, well, I do have this in my laundry room.
Well, I think it's mostly just because whether you're playing sports or just working out, it will help keep your clothes clean and smelling good.
That's fair. I didn't consider that.
I mean, how dare you question the authenticity of this?
Right.
Just because
he may as well have
in a Lysol ad doesn't mean he has to plug Lysol, right?
No, I think he may as well have a PhD in bacteria.
Do you use Lysol? I use Lysol all-purpose cleaner.
I have the wipes.
I don't use Lysol for my laundry.
No, I don't either.
What kind of detergent do you use?
I use Tide.
Yeah, same. Original scent only.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, OxyClean.
I
use the OxyClean
You're going to put
powder.
the disclaimer in the beginning of this episode for us, right?
I have never, ever plugged a product or talked about a product that I haven't been paid for. So every time you've ever heard me mention a product ever on here, I've been paid.
Mm-hmm.
DraftKings.
Keep cashing it, brother.
All right, that was fun. Thanks everybody for indulging that. Much appreciated. That was my first up this week. Have you discovered what GQ calls their little series?
It's the same thing.
It's literally called the same thing.
But it's just they have a number associated with it, right? It's like 10 things this person can't live without.
Okay.
The strategist is what this person can't live without.
Who did it first?
Back to the drawing board.
I believe they're both owned by the same company, so I don't think it's a real beef between them.
Are they both Condé Nast?
Yeah, bro. I only know this because we have a friend who works at GQ, and he always talks about the Condé Nast lunch.
What's the Condé Nast lunch?
I mean, like, they have incredible lunch in the Condé Nast cafeteria at One World Trade.
I was like, where is it and where's my invite?
And I would always hear about this because Spotify, that's right, you heard it, Spotify, was in 4 World Trade, which was the building across the yard. And by yard, I mean the 9/11 memorial from One World Trade. And we didn't have good lunch. So I was always kind of like, hey, we have great healthcare, but we have bad lunch. And they were always kind of like, we're part of a dying media industry, but we have great lunch.
Also, I just want to say, slandering Vox Media, who owns the New York Magazine.
God damn it. I got that wrong?
Yeah.
Shit. I knew that too.
I know you did, because you and Jim Bankoff, who runs Vox
we summer
Media.
together.
Exactly.
No, because Vox Media is in part of the same.
You go to Michael Rubin's
Vox
white
Media
parties together, right?
You didn't even know what the white party was, bro.
And now we're back. And now you can't escape it.
No, because Vox Media is also part of the Writers Guild, and Condé Nast is part of News Guild.
No politics going on there?
Not really. No.
There should be.
Trying to start intra-union beefs. That would be inter-union. No, we're not doing this anymore. Okay. Should we talk about the White Sox?
I suppose.
Well, you told me that before we get into the whole Reinsdorf sale situation, you wanted to weigh in on Andrew Vaughn being cut.
Yeah. Well, traded for Aaron Savale. Both on my fantasy team, for what it's worth.
Yeah, you were like, this doesn't even matter to me.
Yeah, right. I'm like, well,
maybe it could help you. I thought, was he DFA'd and then eventually traded after that? This is
maybe. I mean, he was sent to the minors.
Tough.
Yeah. Anyway,
he's not very good.
It doesn't.
This isn't what we're talking about.
We're trying to fill our 60-second obligation to Rob Manfred to actually talk about baseball on each episode. And we're doing our darndest. The White Sox.
Are you proud of how Goldman Sachs handled our sale to MLB? I mean, we hired them to sell our company to them.
Yes.
You're proud of how they did it.
I am proud. It's a little awkward every time I walk into Charles Schwab to buy more soybean futures. But
they did a good job. And I know that Morgan Sword, who was handling it on MLB's side, really respects the people at Goldman Sachs. Sword. Okay. Jerry Reinsdorf. He's old. Mm-hmm. He's a bad owner.
Mm-hmm.
The White Sox fans have been begging him to sell the team for years. Maybe decades.
Yeah.
If we're really getting down to it.
Yeah.
The time has finally come, but not so fast, Alex.
Not exactly.
Not so fast. Jerry Reinsdorf, owner of the Chicago White Sox and Chicago Bulls, has agreed to bring in Justin Ishbia. Now, you might remember the name Justin Ishbia. It was floated when we found out that the Minnesota Twins were up for sale. And the last name Ishbia might sound familiar to you if you're a fan of the National Basketball Association, because Justin's brother Matt, 1T, that's Matt Ishbia, 1T, M-A-T, Ishbia, owns the Phoenix Suns, recently acquired the Phoenix Suns, and then made a bunch of bad trades, but we're going to leave that alone. And Justin wanted to get into Major League Baseball ownership. Turns out no team wanted to fully sell to him. Instead, Reinsdorf has offered to bring him in as a minority owner with basically the right to continually increase his stake and take over as control person in 4 years. So there's this whole timeline that was announced with this deal, wherein Justin Ishbia, though he is currently a minority owner, can continue to acquire more of the team until eventually he holds the biggest stake and he will have the option to become the control person if he would like to. Did I get all of those details right?
Yes.
I'm reading them from the email from Rob,
right,
our new coworker.
Yes, you got the details right.
Great.
He's being brought in as a limited partner for the next few years to, essentially help pay down debt, cover operating costs, whatever. It's a cash infusion. You and I are very familiar with this idea. But
when in doubt, you just get an infusion of cash.
You just get an infusion of cash. You just have to go out and ask for it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just saying.
By the way, I listened to an episode of A-Rod's pod with Magic Johnson as the guest. Incredible episode of a podcast.
Really?
Yeah. They use the phrase institutional capital a lot. They were talking about how, like, if you want to get really rich, you spend someone else's money for your business ventures.
Right.
You know?
Right. If you want to go far, call an Uber on your own phone.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go fast, spend your own money.
Yeah.
If you want to go far, you spend Morgan Stanley's money.
Exactly.
You spend Warren Buffett's money. You spend not Jerry Reinsdorf's money, because he doesn't have any. Because he needed an infusion. Feel like we really brought that home there.
Yes, well done. The timeline has been laid out. Ishbia will be a sort of minority partner on the White Sox. And actually, it was revealed, I think, at the beginning of the season that they had him and his brother had bought a small stake in the White Sox actually a few years ago. So they've kind of been laying the groundwork for this for some time. And to your point earlier, I think Justin Ishbia, recognized.
Justin spelled normally.
Justin is spelled right.
Justin with one T also.
Yeah.
But
huge distinction there.
Be a surprise if you had 2 T's in Justin.
Right.
Or 2 S's. Justin.
2 J's would be weird.
No, because as we know, J's can be silent.
Starting in 2029, Reinsdorf has the ability to sell to Ishbia. And he has that opportunity for the next 4 years, at which point, after the 2034 season, Ishbia can force a sale, basically. If Reinsdorf hasn't exercised his option to sell, Ishbia can say, it's my turn. By 2034, Jerry Reinsdorf will be 99.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. 98.
So something 99. Tells me a sale might be forced.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
I mean an act of God.
A flood is going to get Jerry? Tell him to get to high ground, brother.
Obviously, this is not the catharsis, I think, that you want that comes with the sale. But with a guy like Reinsdorf, I don't think you were going to get that anyway. There was no real way he was going to simply hand over the keys. I think he's basically like, I literally want to do this until I'm in the ground, right? So I have the option now to do. Well, I don't know. That's a.
What do you want to do until you're in the ground?
This right here, brother.
Create content. Lip reading videos.
Well,
now you signed a contract to say that you will.
Storytelling.
Well,
giving back to the community.
Obviously, storytelling, and then deeper storytelling. That comes next.
Yes,
you have the storytelling at the sort of surface level story. And then we're going to get deeper.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it? Get it? Got it?
So.
Good. Deeper storytelling. Community engagement. Yeah, I don't think this feels very cathartic for White Sox fans, although, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. In the sense that literally before this, there was no way of knowing whether or not Reinsdorf was just going to die and pass the team on to a kid or something, which is almost even a bleaker proposition than him just deciding not to sell. Because even children of good owners are often bad owners.
Yeah.
So a child of a bad owner, Lord only knows what could come from that. I have no idea what kind of baseball owner Justin Ishbia is going to be. I know that Matt Ishbia wanted to immediately spend a bunch of money and try to make his team good. It kind of backfired because the NBA has a weird and bad CBA. But that kind of disposition suits the sport of baseball a little bit more. Now, I don't know if like Matt is the rich one and Justin is like also rich but not as rich. I have no idea. Haven't looked into it because I have 4 years before it's even possible, and more likely 8 years before he actually sells the team.
And his father is in this as well, the Ishbia dad.
Papa Ishbia. Well,
Papa Ishbia.
Happy Father's Day to him as we sit down to record this pod.
That's true. Yeah. So technically, all three of them are involved in this deal.
There's no more
Ishbia.
Significant.
I don't think there are further Ishbia.
Just the two and the dad. We don't have a secret family anywhere in the picture.
Well, that's the thing about secret families. I don't see any hidden third brothers.
What about sisters?
Or sisters.
Women can't own baseball teams? Jesus, dude. Come on.
I once again, I love a good local spin. The NBC Chicago staff pointing out that the possible future owner for the South Sliders does have lifelong Midwest ties, being a native of Michigan and a graduate of Michigan State University.
Yeah, they're big Michigan State guys.
Okay.
So is Justin, did he make his money the same way from that like mortgage company?
No. Different. He's
self-made man.
Self-made private equity guy.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Let's go. What's the name of his private equity firm?
Shore Capital Partners.
Shore, SHORE?
Mm-hmm.
Or SURE?
SHORE. Okay.
Yeah. Shore Capital. Do we think that's the shore of Lake Michigan that he's referring to?
Ooh.
Look at me.
They here's the thing, is that they provide big business resources for small and mid-sized companies who want to grow faster with less risk.
Did we make a mistake selling to MLB?
I was just about to say,
should we have
if it would have been yesterday,
infusion?
I would have been a Shore guy.
They've probably done a lot of good work in small communities. What do you think?
In small communities, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to watch their Private Equity 101 video?
No, I don't. What's his net worth? While you look that up, someone recently asked me if A-Rod was a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you were there, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I gotta feel like, yeah, by now. Plus, he's got the Minnesota Timberwolves ownership, the Lynx ownership, and all the money that he made during his playing career. And of course, we have all of the housing units, all the duplexes.
Yeah. The duplexes.
Of course. And it's just like still says 300 million.
Yeah.
Forbes has not weighed in on A-Rod's net worth. I don't know how that's possible. That can't be right. Because that's what he made in his playing career.
Right. Yes.
And as we know, he owns 80,000 units of housing or whatever we discovered.
But I don't think it is that many units of housing. I think he's a little selective. He has a couple big, again, complexes.
Mm-hmm.
He has some multifamilies.
Which are assets.
Which are assets.
Yeah.
As opposed to your home, which is a liability.
Of course.
But you're right. All the estimates put it at $350 million. And that feels low.
Yeah, start small. Start with the duplex.
But I also kind of don't think he's a billionaire.
I don't either. No. But I was expecting it to be more
like... This was the whole thing. They couldn't even put up
million.
the cash for the deal.
But that was what confused me so much about it, because I never thought that he was going to be the cash guy in that situation. And even when they talked about it, they talked about Laurie being the cash guy because he was already a multi-billionaire.
Right. But I'm like, if A-Rod had this cash lying around.
But they went to arbitration over it. They said that they had the cash, but that the previous owner, the Taylors, didn't want to take the cash because they wanted to back out of the deal because they sold at the wrong price.
Right.
And that, I believe A-Rod. I believe in two things. I believe in Alex Rodriguez. Well, three things, really. I believe in deeper storytelling, of course. I believe in Alex Rodriguez. And I believe in arbitration, bro. So, come on. Did you find Justin Ishbia's net worth yet?
Yeah. Ishbia is worth $4.3 billion. His brother,
damn, more
10.1.
He's a big fish.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big fish.
Makes you think about mortgage lending, doesn't it?
No.
Not even entertaining it as a bit?
Not really. I mean, not more than I've already thought about mortgage lending.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. Do you think you'll ever pay a mortgage?
No.
What's the name of his company? Is he Rocket Mortgage? No, he's something else, right?
Correct. He's United Wholesale Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage
Wholesale mortgage is a crazy concept.
Is a competitor. We need to do some more digging into this because we've had some fun lawsuits like against Rocket Mortgage. They also started the company under the name Shore Mortgage. I've heard that name before.
But Rocket Mortgage is not him. That's someone else. Right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
No, you said Rocket Mortgage again, but
well, he's done some like lawsuits where he's like, I'm not going to work with any company who's worked with Rocket Mortgage. Which puts me in a weird position.
There's beef between it
as a long Rocket Mortgage acolyte.
I mean, you're on those shareholder.
I just
calls.
see what it's done for other people.
No, but Rocket Mortgage is the Pistons guy, I think, and that's why there was beef when Ishbia, 1T, and Matt came into the NBA. They were like, "Oh, there's beef between these two guys."
Oh, got it. Oh, the big mortgage beef of 2024. Shit, who's gonna drop a diss track first?
Who's gonna be the first person to crash the housing market?
I hope none of them's been hanging out with Millie Bobby Brown.
Boo. Boo. That was like, this is not like a part of the cultural moment right now.
There's work to do here.
There's always work to do.
I mean, this is our moment for, frankly, listening and learning.
Oh, okay. You want to sit back. You don't want to take a side yet.
Well, no, I don't. I want to attend all the requisite fireside chats with Justin 1T.
Do we know his middle name? Any T's in there? What are the chances that Reinsdorf...
You don't even know his birthday.
What are the chances that Reinsdorf wrestles this back?
Oh, it's Ryan.
Ryan?
Ryan.
Yeah. Not like Ryan, like Ryan Stanek.
No.
Ryan, R-Y-A-N or R-Y-E-N like Russillo?
A-N. Okay. He's got a normal one. I think slim to none.
This feels like the announcement of a sale.
This feels like of an eventual sale, even though in the press release, they go to great pains to call out, quote, there is no assurance that any such future transaction will occur, and in no event will such a transaction take place before 2029.
Okay.
So they are calling out like, hey, this is not a guarantee of anything. But again...
I'm making so much noise with this coffee right now.
You are, and I'm going to let you keep doing it.
That's what happens when we go back to recording in the same place, you know? Like, if I make noise with the straw...
I don't see what would cause Ryan.
People know that I'm committed to the environment. This is a metal straw.
Exactly.
Community values. Deep storytelling.
I don't see why Reinsdorf would pull out of this, right? Unless something happens in the interim where the Ishbia family really upsets him or something like that.
Right.
It's kind of a setup where, okay, you get a cash infusion up front and then an off-ramp down the road to sell essentially whenever you want. You can wait till you're on your deathbed.
Bro, but the point of owning one of these teams in the 70s and 80s all the way through the 90s and holding on to them is to like sell and cash out and enjoy your fat stacks of cash, right? What's the point of waiting until you're 95 to get the payoff for this team? You won the World Series in 2006, bro. No, 2005, bro. Yes, 2005. Yeah. 4 was the Red Sox. Yes, 5 was the White Sox. 6, we don't talk about it. Like, you already did it, you know?
Yes.
What are you holding on to? I don't know. Whatever. Congrats to White Sox fans. You'll get there someday. You'll have another owner that you have to see whether or not you end up hating him too.
Exactly.
This takes another player off the chessboard for who could buy the A's and move them back to Oakland. Mm-hmm. Ishbia, he's been trying to buy a baseball team for a hot minute here. It's looking bleak.
Yeah.
T-minus 8 days until the A's break ground, allegedly, in Las Vegas. Gun to your head right now. You think that's going to happen in 8 days?
I mean...
Because if it doesn't, that's another bingo square. Checked off.
True. I mean, yes, I think they'll have the event. I think they're going to go out. They're going to get a little shovel. What does breaking
They're going to get like
mean?
a backhoe and like dig up some dirt and be like, yay,
No, I
pop
think
some bottles.
It'll be like one of those little photo ops, you know, when they're all out there in their suits and hard hats with their little shovel and they each take one scoop and then they say, look, I did labor. Mom, look, I'm doing it.
Do you think they're going to like ceremonially plant a small tree that John Fisher can cut down? His favorite activity.
I would like John Fisher to actually contribute at least one full day of work to the construction of this ballpark.
I agree. If you get any public funds, I think you should have to like do a week's worth of work on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good take. I like that take.
Like undercover boss, but there's no retribution at the end. You just have to do the job. It's either that or you have to play on the team. You can pick your poison.
What do you think he would pick if that was actually required? I think he would do a week's worth of work.
I think you do a week's work of worth. Much easier to worm your way out of that.
Work of worth.
Work of worth.
Yeah, no, it is. Because of unions, right? I mean, unions, like, nobody works anymore.
Exactly.
What's this, a union job here, boys?
They pay you just what? Fucking sit there and block traffic or something like that.
One of you standing in the back. Should we fly to Vegas for this? I can't, but should you fly to Vegas for this?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, cool. When was the last time you think John Fisher wielded a shovel? And before you answer that, when was the last time you wielded a shovel?
Exposed. For the little white collar elite that I am.
Yeah, you and your fucking email job.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to talk about the baseball? The literal baseball.
Yeah. Foundation of the very sport.
What's new in the world of the baseball? Other than the fact that I had to watch Juan Soto hit what God deemed should have been a home run, and Rob Manfred, our friend and new boss, forced to not be a home run because of some raised seams.
Mm-hmm. Which, to be very clear, we're supportive of that and whatever decision he decides to make.
It's a hard process
direction of the game.
It's not like they control it start to finish.
No.
It's not like they purchased the company that makes the balls.
No.
It's not like they can press a little button and change the balls.
Who among us has not made a little human error on every single output we have created over the course of months and months of work?
Every ball is hand stitched.
Mm-hmm.
What part of this don't you understand, people at home?
Yeah. Sorry you're getting a unique product.
Unique and unreliable product.
Oh, it's going to mess up your band topic here. Oh, God.
We're referring to the fact that The Athletic published a story sharing a study that they did showing that the baseballs this year are not carrying as far as they did last year. I think you told me, 4 feet shorter on average for balls hit the same speed and launch angle as prior years in the same weather conditions. We also got a tweet from Andrew McCutcheon who said, I was told by a rep for MLB that the balls are indeed different this year. They stated, quote, higher seams, which produces more drag, causing baseballs to not travel as far as they should. When asked why, I was told, quote, every baseball is hand sewn, so no ball is the same. And he goes on to say, he was told that there's nothing that they can do about it. They're working on getting to the bottom of why the seams are higher. Dare I say, we're all trying to find the guy who did this.
Every year, man.
I know.
Every year.
Every single year. It's different every year.
Yeah. Is it because the kids who are making the balls are aging out? Their hands are too big for the little seams?
You're actually going to get us sued one day.
I cleared it with the bosses.
I just don't like having to think about this all the time.
I know.
It's so exhausting.
Yep. This isn't on the bingo card, right?
Juiced ball controversy.
Was that last year?
It was on it last year and we checked it off.
Hmm.
So we did not roll it over into this year.
Fair.
It
would have been too easy.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of don't really understand here. When you literally own the means of production, by definition.
Yes.
Why are there... and they're saying, well, again, every ball is hand stitched, but this is like uniform. I think according to the article in The Athletic, on every day,
it's uniformly different.
It's like
the explanation doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Yes. If across every single day, a vast majority of the days, every ball being used has this greater drag on it, then it's not just a single like supplement issue or something like that. There's something structural going on.
It's the difference between accuracy and consistency.
Yeah.
Like the balls are inaccurate to what they were in the past, but they are consistently inaccurate. So this is not a production issue, actually, unless one guy was doing it last year and now one guy is doing it this year. But that's not the case because you watch one Major League Baseball game, they go through 200 baseballs. This is another piece of this. We just throw baseballs out all the time now.
Mm-hmm.
Like pitchers know this, hitters know this. The ball touches the infield grass one time, we throw the ball away. Whatever. This is a rule that if the ball hits the dirt, it has to be thrown out. Fine. But sometimes you'll watch an umpire throw a baseball back to a pitcher and he'll just be like, I don't like this one.
Nah.
And that's because confidence has been eroded in the production of these baseballs. So if you're a pitcher, you're going to be like, I want the higher seams.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, like all of the balls that you get back that feel like maybe they don't have the higher seams, you're just chucking them out, which I think probably has a not insignificant impact on which baseballs actually get hit. The pitchers are like, this one feels like last year. Get it out of here.
Right.
There's also so many elements of the baseball that can be tweaked that actually have an impact.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the bounciness of the core? What is the height of the seams?
Mm-hmm.
What is the weight of the ball? Like, what are all these different things? How tightly is it wound? So I'm sort of just like, MLB acquiring Rawlings. This is why monopolies are bad, Alex.
Explain it to me.
You can't pull any of the levers to fix the problem.
Yeah.
Because MLB acquiring Rawlings means that they're the only ones in charge and they answer to no one. But if it was the opposite, if MLB was not allowed to be a monopoly in the baseball industry, then you'd have to say MLB can have nothing to do with the production of the baseballs. And that will instill more confidence because there will be some sort of oversight process into how the baseballs are made, whether it comes from the fans, whether it comes from government, whether it comes from the fact that sports books are pissed off that the baseballs are different. Whoever is involved in ensuring that the baseballs are not just being meddled with all of the time, it doesn't really matter. But right now, it's like nobody does that. Nobody has any impact at all on anything that happens in Major League Baseball except like 8 people.
Yeah.
Plus the owners.
Well, and except for me.
And we support that.
Rawlings
system.
does hire me. I come at the last stage of the development process, and I'm actually the seam heightener. So I take each baseball that they give me.
How do you do
product,
that? Do you loosen them? You pull them
just loosen them a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. And then stuff them back in and then send them on their way to the ballparks.
You don't know this, but Rawlings hired me to be the last guy after you. And I've been grading your performance.
Oh, okay.
And we're putting you on a performance improvement plan. Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to get caught. I know.
Get ready to learn basketballs, buddy.
It's funny. I'm sorry. It's objectively funny that just every year there's a new controversy. We're like, we actually don't know what's up with the balls again.
It's
like the thing that your sport is named after.
No, literally.
Or the other way around. I don't know.
It's a true testament to the fact that the physical world is just dying around us. That we just have we can't make the uniforms. We can't make the balls.
Mm-hmm.
We're running out of the mud from the bottom of the Delaware River. You know, the world is on fire and extreme weather has had so much impact on baseball in the last 5 years. It's like pretty soon it's not going to be just that MLB wants us to go into the virtual ballpark. It's going to be that's the only place that we can play the game. My Galaxy Brain conspiracy theory is that they rolled out StatCast and all of the behind the scenes data, visualizations and numbers and everything to sort of over the course of 5 to 10 years train our brains to understand things like expected batting average. So when everything happens within the virtual ballpark, we just accept the fact that we don't know whether or not a hit would have been a hit.
Oh, that's bleak.
You like that one?
It's good though. I do like that. I'll put on my tinfoil hat for you.
Another one on top of the one you're already wearing?
Right.
No, you're wearing your Enron Field hat, which I thought you lost. And I was so sad for like 6 months. I thought you lost that hat on your honeymoon.
Yeah.
When you were wearing a hat and it blew away in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Were you on a boat?
I was on a boat. Yeah.
That's why you never go on a boat.
Yeah, exactly.
Your first mistake, going on a boat. But it was a different hat that you were wearing. And so you still have the Enron Field hat.
I still have the Enron Field hat. Yes. Yeah.
Your most prized hat.
Yeah.
I'm also wearing my most prized hat. Coca-Cola.
That's right.
Official sponsor of the New York Mets.
If there's one thing about us, it's that we love brands.
I mean, yeah. Keeps the light on.
That's right.
Keeps the lights on. Just like Motel 6.
What else?
I've run out of stuff to say about the
it?
baseball, clearly.
Yeah,
I've run out of stuff to say about the baseball. Anything else you want to touch on before we get out of here?
A-Rod on the Lex Friedman podcast.
You're saying this as a hypothetical, right? Like he's
Correct.
not. You didn't just see on your laptop that he went on the Lex Friedman podcast.
I knocked the mic over and scrambled to put it on the TV.
On the TV. A-Rod on the Big Picture.
Mm-hmm.
Movie takes.
Yep.
That would be good. That'd be good.
A-Rod on Shark Tank as the founder.
Right. Sharks, I have
pitch.
Lysol spray right here. What do you think? Good idea. A-Rod on Squawk Box, your favorite TV show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Jim C.
I don't know who that is. That's the host of Squawk Box?
No, I guess Jim Cramer is not Squawk Box, is he?
I don't know.
You actually don't know who Jim Cramer is?
No.
Oh, buddy. Where are you getting your stock advice from?
Right from my gut. Right from the gut.
And your new friends at Morgan Stanley.
And Wall Street Bets.
Yeah, okay.
Knuckle tattoo. Buy the dip. Does that fit? I think it does. BUYTHEDIP. I need one more letter. Exclamation point.
All right, how about this? Game. Stop.
It's good. It's pretty good. A-Rod on the last episode of Mark Maron's pod.
Oh.
Shout out to him.
Yeah.
What else? Keep it going here. We're on a volley.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A-Rod on. I'm scrolling through my YouTube to see what else he could go on.
A-Rod on Salad Fingers
on the Adam Friedland show. And it's maybe not out of the question at this point.
No, wait, who just went on there? It was like a big
Sarah
thing?
Jessica Parker.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. A-Rod on Sex and the City. There you go. Okay.
Look, I think we have a good list running for him so far. We have like 6 or 7 assignments for him right now.
You're giving up right now. I don't like that.
A-Rod on The Breakfast Club.
With Zoran Mondani.
Yep.
Okay.
Just want to say, strangely quiet on the endorsement front.
For New York City mayor.
Exactly.
Who do you think he would pick? Curtis Sliwa? I think he would pick Sliwa. Sliwa?
Uh-huh.
Still haven't figured out how to pronounce it.
Yeah, not interested in knowing. I think he'd probably go Cuomo.
I don't know though. I feel like Cuomo doesn't talk enough about business.
Right.
A-Rod's main goal in life is to like make sure businesses can do whatever they want.
I actually think he would probably endorse Eric Adams. Like
I know.
probably not vote for him the first time around, but now seeing what he's been through, like finding some sort of common cause with them, being discarded by the city of New York,
right?
But still fighting.
What was Eric Adams' 2009 World Series?
The Rat Czar.
I was going to say the video of him discovering cocaine in his child's house,
right?
In his child's bedroom or something.
In like the kid's pillow.
Yeah. That's a training video that Eric Adams did telling fellow parents to be wary of kids bringing drugs home.
Yeah.
And where they could hide them. I highly encourage you to go watch it if you've never seen it. It's one of the craziest videos I've ever seen in my life.
I do the routine every night before I go to bed.
I cut open my pillow with a knife.
It's extremely expensive, but I have not found drugs yet.
No, but you're really good at sewing because you've been sewing the seams of the baseball, so you sew it back together. So I've seen a lot of people saying that they're really excited to hear what Trump has to say about Zoran Mondani. I'm really excited to hear what A-Rod has to say about him.
Yeah.
Like, we know what Trump's going to say about him. But A-Rod,
wild card.
Maybe we could get A-Rod on Team Mamdani, because he could have been like, when I was growing up in New York, I would have loved to be on a fast free bus to go to Citi Field.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah. A-Rod.
He wants to build more housing. Did you see Zoran said that he's willing to work with the abundance guys?
Exactly. A-Rod, as we know, from when he was a small child,
right,
always wanted to trade places with the landlord, did it, and now is working from the inside to create more housing for everyone.
Did you see Zoran talking about abundance?
I saw the quote where he was like, we need a policy of abundance that tax the billionaires.
He was asked on Pod Save America.
Oh, God, seriously?
Whether he's abundance filled.
Why?
A-Rod on Pod Save America? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to kick you right there.
It's fine.
What do you think about that?
That's a really good idea, actually.
That's
I need that more than Rogan.
Why limit ourselves? Okay. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Tipping Pitches podcast. If you like what you heard and you want more, you can find it over at MLB.com. You can also find us over at patreon.com/tippingpitches, where there's 2 tiers of support. The first one, $5. You're just supporting us. That's like less than a coffee these days, you know? Can't go anywhere without spending $5, including the Tipping Pitches Patreon. The second tier is $10, and that will get you everything that you get in the $5 tier, which is access to the Slack and select posts. And it will also get you bonus episodes that we release every other week, 3 up, 3 down, 3 things that bring us joy, 3 things that take our joy away. We've done a lot of fun 3 up, 3 down so far with some guests. The next 3 up, 3 down will be coming, I believe, on the 25th, and we will have a fun guest for that one as well. First pod from inside the Empire. Mm-hmm. First pod from inside Major League Baseball. How do you feel we did?
Yeah, recording inside the headquarters. I feel good. I think we did it justice. We pulled no punches.
Mm-hmm.
I think we only had to be tapped on the shoulder a couple times.
My main question is, do you feel like 2 things. Do you feel like we gave back to the community, and do you feel like we engaged in deeper storytelling? Because if we did that, then it doesn't really matter what else happened.
We definitely gave back to the community. That one I'm sure of. We got to work on the storytelling part.
Okay.
But I think that's hard because we only traffic in like facts here, you know?
Facts and logic. Neither of which care about your feelings.
Hey, real quick, I want to say thank you to everyone who came out to our meetup at the Brooklyn Cyclones game.
What a great way to actually end the podcast.
We had an amazing time. Really good group of people showed out. These are always just such a blast. And we saw a pretty good game, I think. I think the Cyclones lost.
They did lose.
But
they were winning and then they blew it.
Yeah.
You blew it. Another way they blew it is that it was the longest concession lines I've ever seen at a baseball game or maybe any event ever.
Yeah.
Longest and slowest.
Yep.
I think that has nothing to do with the people who are trying their best in the concession stands. I think it has to do with the fact that there's not enough of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough open concession stands. But it was fun, nonetheless. Great turnout. There was like 40 people at the game.
I know.
I mean, not at the whole game, like in our group at the game. I had so much fun. Thank you to everyone who came out to the ballpark. If you missed it and you'd like to come to the Major League Baseball meetup later in this season, it's happening on September 6th in Kansas City, Missouri. At a Royals game. Royals are hosting the Twins. We've bought some tickets already. Many of you already signed up saying that you want to come, that you indicated that you will be coming. You'll be getting an email within the next week from us about your intentions to come and purchase a ticket and instructions for how you can get that ticket that you signed up for. If your plans have changed, that's okay too. Although we'd really like for you to honor that commitment because we already bought the tickets. But if you didn't have a chance to fill out that form and your plans have changed and you do want to come, email us, tippingpitchespod@gmail.com. We can always buy more tickets and increase the size of our group for the Kansas City meetup on September 6th. All right, that's it. That's it for this podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll talk to you again in 1 week's time.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alex Rodriguez. Tipping pitches.
Tipping pitches.
This is the one that I love the most.
Tipping pitches.
So we'll see you next week. See ya!